Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to your Fantasy Nerd, and I'm going to be bringing you my start and sits for the Week 3 action coming up in just a few days. I'll start with my sits. The first guy I'm going to sit is actually Chris Ivory of the Jets. He's going up against Philadelphia. You know, that Philadelphia run defense is actually really solid. I mean, when you look back at the games they've played, Joseph Randle had a really tough game. And then Atlanta, Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman both did not look good. So going at Philly, I think this is a very scary opportunity for Chris Ivory, and I'm avoiding Chris Ivory if I have him. I do not think you want to start him just for the sheer fact that Philly has a really good run defense, and I think they're going to have to pass the ball a lot in that game because I think Philly's going to be up a lot. Relatively a lot. So I think they could end up beating the Jets pretty badly. All right, the next guy I'm sitting is Mike Evans going up at Houston. Thing about Mike Evans is he had no catches last week, and I don't think you can really trust him at all this week. I need to see it from him first. Jameis Winston actually had a pretty good bounce back game last week, beating the Saints, but the Saints defense isn't all that good, and Mike Evans had no catches. So Lewis Murphy actually got on the field a lot last game, played almost the same amount of snaps probably as Mike Evans, but now with the injury to Safarian-Jenkins, Evans will probably get on the field a lot. I don't trust him this week, though. I'm sitting him just due to the fact that the injury may still be bothering him. All right, now for guys who I'm starting, I'm going to be looking at running back here. First guy is Devonta Freeman. Please start Devonta Freeman if you have him. He's going up against Dallas in the Dome, okay, in Dallas's place, in Jerry World. That's always heavy running back carries. Guys usually dominate in the running when you have a running back in Atlanta or in Dallas. I see a lot of ground and pound games. So I really think Devonta Freeman with the injury to Tevin Coleman can really step in and produce like an RB2. I really think he can do it because when you look at the Atlanta backfield, it never has been all that good. But I think this year it'll be okay just because Tevin Coleman and Freeman, they've been both playing decently. But now that Freeman has 100% of the carries, I think he dominates. I think he has a very good game. Please start Devonta Freeman. That's what I say. All right, now the final guy I'm starting at quarterback. You probably didn't draft him as your starter, but if you did, good for you. Teddy Bridgewater going up against San Diego at home. The thing about Bridgewater is that he really plays well at home. When you look at his home versus away splits, it's pretty significant. He is a home quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater dominates at home. I've got him actually ranked at 9 in my quarterback ranking, so I'm definitely starting Bridgewater this week. Going up against the Chargers actually have not played terribly well defensively this season. They've let up a lot of points to the Lions and Bengals in their 2 games. And I don't see that changing at all. I think the Vikings offense is very solid this season, and I think it'll continue. So I'm definitely starting Teddy Bridgewater. And that'll wrap up my start and sits for week 3.
Today we'll be going over my start and sits for week 3. My first start is Isaiah Crowell of the Cleveland Browns. I'll be starting him. Don't worry about Duke Johnson. He's a start all the way, coming off of a good game against Tennessee. Oakland giving up 4.66 yards per carry against the running backs they face so far. So I think Isaiah Crowell is a very good start for week 1. My next start is going to be Donte Moncrief for the Colts. This guy is just a stud. He's a deep threat. He's really been filling in for T.Y. Hilton because he's not full speed, and I think he's done a great job. So I'd give him the start this week for sure at a flex, maybe even a wide receiver too. For now, my first sit is going to be Demarco Murray going up against one of the best front sevens in the NFL, if not the best, the New York Jets. So Demarco Murray's got 11 yards total offense carrying the ball. So I just don't see how you can start him. I mean, so far through 2 weeks, he's been touchdown reliant. So I say you don't start him. The 11 yards through 2 games on the ground is terrible for a running back, and I just don't think the offense fits him. My next sit is actually going to be Matt Forte of the Chicago Bears. I just don't know how they're going to move the ball against Seattle when they're getting Cam Chancellor back if he plays. Jimmy Clausen's coming in for Cutler. I just don't see how it works. Matt Forte, I could be seeing getting 8 points without a touchdown. I don't know. Seattle's going to blow him out, and I think that when they're blowing him out, they're going to have to throw the ball, which is not terrible for Forte, but I think they're going to look down the field, and then they're just going to get in all trouble because Jimmy Clausen is not an experienced quarterback in the NFL. So Matt Forte is my next sit.
Videos. First guy I'm going to start that I wouldn't usually start this week, James Starks of the Packers. Eddie Lacy probably not going to play this week. If he does, he'll definitely be limited. And I see Starks getting most of the carries on this Packers offense. Obviously, it's one of the most explosive offensives in the league. And I just see him running for a decent amount of yards, maybe a touchdown. I really like the way he ran last week against the Seahawks. So I think he'll continue that when he gets some carries this week. Now, as for another guy I'd start, also from the Packers, I'm going to start Richard Rodgers, who I wouldn't usually start. I see him trending up. The Packers' offense has looked his way more and more lately, and I think in their game against Kansas City, they'll look his way again and again, as they have been all season, more than last season. And he's really had a good season, and I think as the year goes on, they'll even keep looking his way more than they have. And a big thing is he caught a touchdown, and it's definitely encouraging to see that they're looking to him in the red zone. Now for some guys that I'd sit. C.J. Anderson obviously has not had a very good season. I think he's got less than 3 yards per carry so far. That's not a good thing for a running back, and that's why I wouldn't even start him probably this week, maybe as a flex, but he's just not had that type of production. I know we've seen what he can do. He can go off. Maybe I'm being an idiot by saying this, but I just think he's not had the fantasy value, and I might take him out of my lineup if he was on my team this week. Another guy I'd sit this week is Martellus Bennett. He's got a starting quarterback hurt in Jay Cutler, so he's got Jimmy Clausen throwing him the ball. That's already not good. Now he's playing one of the best defenses in the league in Seattle, who's getting it back their strong safety, Cam Chancellor, the guy who covers tight ends. That also doesn't help because he just locks tight ends down left and right. I just think this is going to be a bust week for a guy like Martellus Bennett, and I would not start him for any reason really. Besides maybe the fact that if the Bears do get a touchdown, he's probably going to be the one that scores it. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.